Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me on the first video of the True Balance Pantry series, which is Finding Your True Balance, and I am so excited to get started. I know you are going to learn so much from the email today and the video. So let's get started. So the first part of finding your true balance is reflecting on where you're at currently with your health and taste preferences and where you would like to be. Doing that reflection will help you understand how much of a gap you have between where you're at and where you need to be, and how much work will go into that. So the first thing that you need to know about finding that balance is that not all ingredients can be swapped one for one. So if you want to find a pasta alternative, or you want to find a flour alternative for baking, or a sugar alternative for baking, the proportions for how much you would use are not going to be the same. So if you have a muffin recipe that you love, but you want to use healthier ingredients, you really need to research a healthier recipe. So say it's like a cinnamon muffin. You're going to need to look up different keywords that might be involved. Cinnamon muffin with coconut sugar, or gluten-free cinnamon muffin. So compare the ingredients and the recipe from the original that you have to the one that you're looking at. And if it looks like it's really far off and the picture looks really far off from what you're used to, then maybe that's not the right one. So you have to look at it visually and also in proportion when you're choosing a new ingredient. And additionally, keep in mind that not every new recipe you look at is going to be fit to your lifestyle. If you don't have the right equipment, or it's really time consuming, or it involves other ingredients that you're just not comfortable using, then that's not the right recipe. You really want to choose a recipe that has you swapping minimal ingredients out at first when you're just getting started. You don't want to change everything in the recipe. You want to choose something that switches maybe 1 to 2 ingredients. Like if you choose a muffin recipe, something that's gluten and dairy free, if that's what you need. But don't choose something that is gluten and dairy free if you are okay with dairy and you always work with dairy and you always bake with dairy. It will be really confusing, and maybe the results will not be so satisfying to you. The next thing that you need to know is how does your body react to certain ingredients? So how do you feel when you eat gluten? How do you feel when you eat dairy? How do you feel when you eat sugar? And just keep tabs. A food journal is really helpful with this. To know exactly how your body is reacting to those ingredients. It's an extremely important part of determining the gap between where you are at with your health, where you want to be with your goals. Doing a food journal and keeping track of your reactions with certain ingredients, and also checking the labels of all of the products you buy, will give you a serious peace of mind going into a healthy eating lifestyle. Doing this work early on will give you real understanding of where you're at with your consumption, with your health, and also it gives you a lot of information on the real work that you can do very easily with your health, and not just feel like you're blindly led through a meal plan or a diet. You really want to know what it is you're doing and why. And by reflecting on your current practices will give you that information better than any diet will. Nobody can tell you what you're doing right or wrong in your lifestyle unless you're working one-on-one with somebody to look through it. Now, we all need a little bit of help with this, but spending the time reflecting on it is the first step to understanding. So that's where we're at in this beginning process of finding your true balance. Now, this last point is the most important for the day in terms of helping you meet your health goals. So I really want you to reflect on who is it that inspires you to have a balanced lifestyle, and what does that look like to them? Personally, to me, balance is not a consistent thing. I'm not the same every single day. I don't do the same things every single day, but to me and my life, balance is that I have certain ingredients that work well for my health and I consume them a certain amount of times during the week. That allows me a certain amount of flexibility, but it took a lot of work to get to that point. There was definitely stages where I had to be extremely consistent and I had to be very restricted with my practices. So definitely take a look at how big that gap is between where you're at now with your health and where you would like to be, and compare that to the balance that is inspired in you by somebody else and other businesses, other people, and just really think about how they can help you meet that balance and how they can help you figure out what that looks like. Sometimes you realize that your inspiration is more detrimental to helping you find that balance than it is helpful. So you really want to find somebody or something that inspires you to find your balance and not to follow theirs. Those are my tips for the first part of my free wellness series, Finding Your True Balance. I hope you learned something really valuable. Please go check your email and reply with the reflection questions. Write them down. Let me know if you have any of your own questions about this process. I would love to help you figure out just the beginning stages of finding your true balance. It's a lot of work, but once you put in this work now, eating healthy will seem so much easier than you ever thought it could be. So I can't wait to see what you guys make, and have a great day.